You over now to our MC, Mark Johnson-Allen.
Thanks, Jill. Well, the Duffbet Champion of Champions has produced some great snooker already this week, but this is the match that everybody wants to see, that everybody has been talking about, a repeat of last year's final. Let's get on with the introductions. And first up, ladies and gentlemen, a man seeded number 8 in this year's event. He's in fantastic form, having recently won the Shanghai Masters back in China, one of the most consistent players in the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, last year's finalists, please put your hands together for the superb Stuart Bingham! But Stuart is up against an all-time great. 26 titles to his name, including 5 world titles. He is the biggest name in the world of snooker. He is the reigning champion of champions. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the incredible Ronnie O'Sullivan!
So it's Ronnie O'Sullivan, snooker's authentic genius.
It's ahead. Ronnie, you won the toss.
Against a tip-top player in Stuart Bingham, who is well capable of beating him on his day.
Thank you. The first frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
As usual, O'Sullivan breaking off left-handed. He does that because using right-hand side right-handed, he feels, whether he's right or not, that sometimes he hits slightly across the ball rather than straight through it. But anyway, what a blessing to be able to play left-handed at all, let alone to the high standard he can do it. It was a great final between these two last year. O'Sullivan managed to win it 10-8 after getting past Ding Junhui and Neil Robertson, both by 6 frames to 5. Although Bingham returned the compliment in the quarterfinals of the UK, managed to turn O'Sullivan over there. 6-4.
One.
Bingham coming here off the back of winning an Asian Tour event in Haining.
Stuart Bingham 1.
Doesn't usually miss those.
Yes, and these matches best of 7 in this round, which comes turns into a longer match later on. Best of 11. You feel that this is quite a tight affair when you play a fairly short match in such a big tournament. But a big prize up for grabs. Place in the semi-finals at the weekend. Final on Sunday. And I just think that last year was a new event for Ronnie, something he would have loved to have added to his CV. He looked delighted when it happened. Also, it's a tournament here in the UK, and we haven't had one of those since the World Championships. Unlucky not to be on the pink there. I think he hoped pink would become potable. That's a good safety shot.
O'Sullivan 4.
He's got everything, O'Sullivan. We know what a great break builder he is, but his safety game is right up there as well when he needs it.
Wow. Needed to hit that just off straight, but he hit it just off straight the wrong side.
It can affect your confidence when you hit those on the wrong side. I think quite a few players have been there, and it will be thinking about that while he's sitting there. Don't know how long he'll be sitting there for, because when he's thinking about dropping this red in the middle. This is a tough shot. Oh, it's a little beauty, and Stuart Bingham's got more time to consider that last shot now.
Eight. Nine.
During the course of the tournament last week in Chengdu, the International, which is a high tariff event nowadays, Ronnie looked to be a real good thing to win it. A lot of the other high-ranking players had gone out. He'd beaten some good players. Anthony McGill with 3 centuries. Alan made reference to that match. And he was 3-0 up against Mark Williams before losing in the end 6-5 in a good match.
Which was the first time for 12 years that Williams, a double world champion, had beaten him.
It's good to see Mark playing better again, actually.
$24. $25.
That was a nice shot, stun run through from the cushion.
32.
The red he's looking at, well, just past the other one. Really was a good shot on the black.
33.
Played it with ease. You can get roped into the whole idea that this game is easy when you watch someone like O'Sullivan, but it isn't. It makes
40.
it look easy, Clive.
Well, I've said before, all great players make the game look easy, but only
41.
O'Sullivan can make it look preposterously easy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess he played on the blue there. He's not perfectly behind this. He's recovered the situation really well. It's hard to see him breaking down at this point before the frame is safe.
46.
Good, this red opens up the other two to the left corner. And he's 50 points in front now, that red's in. This is a
47.
very encouraging start from O'Sullivan.
Just one mistake from Bingham is going to prove enough to cost him this frame.
52. $53.
We've both seen Ronnie backstage, Neil, and he looks happy, relaxed, and in fine fettle.
Yes, he said he'd lost some weight from presumably training and running. Not thinking that he was particularly out of shape
60.
before, but he looks in good form. He looks after himself. He's finished a little awkward there, but barring snookers, the frame's already won. Oh, he's missed it, but all things considered, it was a good break, that.
Yes, I thought that he'd go on to clear the table, but he just left himself bridging over that red, which was a very tough shot, and it's certainly worth Bingham playing on. It's only one snooker. If he took
One.
blacks with the remaining reds.
Yes, and he'd be interested where the red is up the table by the brown, because if he could get behind that as the last red, he could lay a good snooker on Ronnie. Can't think of too many frames of snooker Ronnie has lost where his opponent needs snookers over the years. It's happened, I'm sure. Probably missing out on an important one, but invariably doesn't throw frames away very easily.
Stuart Bingham, 8.
Bingham's second failure with the rest in this frame. He's usually very reliable with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's early days in any match, this. It's the first frame which he's now lost, but
1.
two things that will be just at the back of his mind that might eat away at his confidence was those two rest shots. When you start missing them with the rest, you can miss again. And that long red he hit the wrong side of. Trying to put things straight, but I can assure you he'll be thinking of that already. Now he's got to play to the top of his game here.
7.
Done it before against O'Sullivan. Oh, look at this. What a beautiful shot. Beautiful.
11. 12. 19. 21. 24.
So the rocket has left the launch pad in impressive style.
28. 33. 39. On the frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Largely through his earlier 60 break. O'Sullivan has the opening frame under his belt. 1-0.
The second frame, Stuart Bingham to break.
It's a little bit of a shock to realise that O'Sullivan will be 39 next month. A lot of players, top players even, tend to fall away in form in their mid-30s, but there's no sign of it with him.
Years on the turf for O'Sullivan. Of course, he turned professional same time as Mark Williams. John Higgins in that batch as well that year. Great players. And the game was opened up. And it's a very poor shot if the blue has covered and the green might have covered. He's been a bit fortunate there.
Yes, Bingham slow to settle on the evidence so far.
I don't think he's settled yet. I can understand why, because I think really easy has come his way, and even that shot he played it to screw right back down the table, which makes the pot more difficult, but he thinks it's going to give him more chance of it going safe, but that hasn't worked either. The red followed the cue ball. Bode well for Stuart Bingham either, because it was dead weight, in or over, wasn't it, the red?
Could make a big difference, that fluke.
Five. Six. Twelve. $13.
Well, the cue ball clearly went further than he thought, which means you can't get to the black. It would have been tough anyway had it been potable. So he's not really taken full advantage of that fluke.
Sullivan 13.
Stuart eyeing up something in there. Little combination, maybe a plant of some kind. There are two reds that are in some kind of line. Not sure if one of the other reds is in the way actually. Yeah, I don't think it was actually a plant. He may have been more thinking about getting the reds away from the pocket more than the pot. That's a very decent safety shot from Stuart. He's got to start to get the range on those to keep O'Sullivan out.
good solid pot. That'll make him feel better after his somewhat scratchy start.
Seven. Eight. Yes.
Paul Collier is the referee.
14.
Table's not that easy for scoring. The reds are not awkward, but black away from its spot and the reds on the black spot make it difficult to win the frame here.
$15.
But he can accumulate enough points to make things pretty much in his favour. Where the balls are, if he could get 40 in front, that would be quite something. And it also would build some confidence because he hasn't shown an awful lot in the first frame in a bit.
21.
Bingham is currently 9th in the world rankings. He won the 2011 Australian Open and earlier this season his second world ranking title, the Shanghai Masters.
$28.
Awkward queuing. Very awkward. And it wasn't just a matter of just dropping the red in, he had to do something with the cue ball, so that was a very good shot.
It's a good pot, very cleanly done, but the nudge on the red wasn't as he would have hoped.
36.
Yeah, he's a bit unlucky there. Favoured left-hand side to stay left of the table.
37.
Yes, it checked the cue ball off the two cushions, especially the second cushion.
$39. $40. $46.
Solid effort this
47.
from Bingham, who's overcome a couple of difficulties along the way.
$53.
40 in front, so red colour red would suffice.
$54.
Well, you've got to get the cannon right, Clive, to make that happen here. Doesn't look all that difficult. Well played. This has been a good break, you're right, Clive. It's come with the pressure on in a best of 7 frame match to go 2-0 down
61.
without really starting. He's made Ronnie think anyway.
$62.
Very good positional shot. That's
68.
just about best possible for this red, which is still not a certainty.
$69. $76.
Well, if he makes a 100 break here, it's one of the best you'll see. Because often it's all about the position, staying in control, but it's always been a struggle from the outset this break. He's just kept going.
80. 82.
He's shown what a very good player he is. He certainly has made his
85.
presence felt in this match after not offering very much in the opening frame.
89. $94.
And with that, high quality clearance of 107. Stuart Bingham levels the match at 1-all. The left-handed break-off shot again. Seems to be taking a late lunch.
That's what they call lunch on the go, isn't it? When you're working. As I say, he looks after himself, eats well, trains hard. It's a good shot. Good shot to play with your hand on the cushion rail there. Swinging the cue ball round, a touch of right hand side on the ball, taking it wide around the angles. Easier shot with your hand on the bed of the table.
Cue ball hits the brown smack on the nose, but for that it would have been on the ball cushion.
We shall test Ronnie's long game, or his confidence in it, depending on whether he takes this red onto the right corner. I think if he was at his best he would. He'd be on the black, but of course if he misses it, I think he'll leave something. So he's looking at the other red now, perhaps even the safety shot. Yeah, he's refused it. Saw Judd Trump yesterday play brilliantly all day. I can't imagine he would have refused that red.
No, probably not. But as it is, O'Sullivan's safety has not turned out to be all that safe.
Foul.
Very
Ronnie
unlucky.
O'Sullivan, 4.
He hit it so well. You could be there all day and you couldn't repeat the shot he's played there, going off. Here it is, just flicked the other red on the way through. Any contact thicker than that, he's been on the black, let alone it off. Well, this time with the ball in hand, I don't think he can refuse this red. He doesn't want to, but he is again. Goodness me. I'm not saying it's easy by any means, because it's clearly not. This is a safety shot. It will have to be a good one. It's pretty good. There is one red though. He can get to the thin one down the cushion rail. He sticks this in. And Stuart's back in, and that piece of bad luck, the last shot, won't count for anything.
No, that was too thick. So that's left O'Sullivan right in.
One. Six. Seven.
So the waiting game from O'Sullivan worked out in his favour. Those couple of long reds he refused.
$13.
O'Sullivan is very good at turning a slightly awkward table into a perfect one in a few shots. He's got work to do here. He's the black on its spot. The two reds that are currently below the black are covering it for each corner pocket, so that's why he's a bit reluctant to pot the black. It's slightly tied up if it does go in.
$14.
But he can untie it pretty quickly. They've screwed. Played on the red he's closest to. That would have opened the black up to the right corner, but it's a few players have said this table is so lively, so responsive. Mark Selby said it yesterday, and Ronnie's found that there. A basic little screw shot, and he'd give it too much. Tough red to continue the break. That'll frustrate him.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Did a lot of the hard work there.
So the unexpected loss of position cost O'Sullivan dear in the end.
One. Six. Seven.
Well, that was a miscue.
Stuart Bingham,
It was
7.
awkward because the cue ball was so close to the pink.
Yeah, so you've almost got to play a little jab shot on those. That's a reprieve for O'Sullivan.
Eight.
Well, he knows that putting the pink over the pocket doesn't always mean that he'll be on a red from there. Sometimes difficult to control the cue ball when the ball's right over the pocket.
Nine.
On the other hand, that pocket needs to be unblocked for subsequent reds.
$15.
Has to play a good positional shot here. Just played the whole shot. Did well
16.
there. It's taking just a bit of time over this break. It's requiring a little bit of extra thought. You can see his problem. Pretty good chance of the break coming to an end. Might try and get in behind green and brown on the safety and take his 40-point lead and run away.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 22.
Yes, he had the wrong angle to attempt red to middle.
A tiny bit of the red sticking out. Oh, there's more than a tiny bit.
Touch the blue, thank you. Foul. Stuart Bingham, 5.
Well, the referee didn't see that, but O'Sullivan quickly owned up to touching the blue, I think, on the address.
Well, that's what he said, so he's called a foul on himself. Well, there you see it. Yep. Probably just felt it on his cue, and I think you always do feel it. What's he going to pick up from under the table to avoid that happening again? Get more elevation on it. It's always nice that players do that, though. Clive, I know we always say it, but players aren't looking to gain any unfair advantage.
In that respect, snooker and golf seem to be the two most gentlemanly sports.
There's two reds pointing in the general direction of that right-hand corner. I don't know if a plant is on, especially from where the cue ball is. It's a bit thin on the first red to make it into a plant from there. If it was the other side of the table, maybe. Yeah, they're aiming at the right-hand jaw anyway, and I don't think he can make it into a plant. Yeah, it's a good shot. A bit unlucky, that's why he's smiling, because there is a gap to the two reds for a safety shot for Ronnie. Could have been a snooker. But even then, when he gets up and looks at this shot again, it's a tricky little safety shot. Playing to the right of the bottom red of the two. Oh, this is a great shot. He just may have stuck the red. I think he's unlucky there. That was a very well played shot. There wasn't much room to play around two cushions inside the red on the right cushion there.
One.
Possible turning point fairly early in the match, but it was a frame that Ronnie, he felt, looked like he would win, but I wouldn't be so sure now.
Yes, O'Sullivan got in twice, but didn't have the
Six.
situation under full control on either occasion.
Seven.
I think Bingham is experienced enough now not to be affected by who he's playing. A less experienced player might be.
$14.
Had the ideal opportunity to get on the most difficult red, which in fact was not all
15.
that difficult.
$20. $21. $28.
Apart from the situation, there isn't
29.
anything difficult about the way the table is clearing up. Just that perhaps the importance of it might stop him. But this is absolutely perfect stun up for the red.
$36. $37. Right. 42.
7 in front, so up to and including the blue would be enough, although there's no reason at all why he should stop at the blue.
44. 47. 51. 56.
He's played well in this frame, hasn't he, to win it.
O'Sullivan in twice early on, but didn't make enough, so it's Bingham with a 62 clearance to the pink, who leads by 2 frames to 1. Stuart Bingham just returning to the arena after a comfort break, having won the second frame with a break of 107, and the third with a 62 to the pink. 2-1 to him.
Frame 4. Stuart Bingham to break.
In the offing.
Yes, Stuart's played 2 very good frames.
In these early frames, a couple of things have gone wrong for O'Sullivan, but he's not made any really glaring mistakes. Bingham's pot success rate only 88%, but that's because he missed a few in the opening frame.
6.
Quickly played on the red, just behind the black there to get it into
11.
play. The black, that is, into both corner pockets. There was a red at the base of the pack, which I think might pot to the left corner, but well, they've designs to go into them before too long.
12.
It's slightly coming between shots there. He'll be annoyed with that.
19.
The problem here is not only the pot, but the cue ball's travelling. Been unlucky.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 19.
The shot before wasn't one of his best.
Overcut. Another chance for O'Sullivan.
One.
It was a missable opener that he took on. Just 1 or 2 shots going awkward for O'Sullivan. This again, difficult cueing.
9.
Made it look simple.
16. Seventeen.
I want to be fully aware that in the previous frame he had a lead of 40 points and he was going
21.
well, and Stuart cleared, and frames can continue with that pattern. It's not over the line by any means in this frame yet, but if Stuart's done it once, he could clear again if the chance came.
$22. $29. 30. $37. 38.
That's really well played. That was the perfect nudge on the pink. Didn't see O'Sullivan using the rest all that often with his
44.
ability to play his left hand, but he's usually pretty good with it.
$45.
Only the second rest shot he's played and he's got them both. Well, this has got the makings of a really good match.
52.
Both players look pretty sharp.
$53.
O'Sullivan's already done enough to level the match at 2-all.
$59. 60.
There's been a 60+ break in every frame.
67. 68.
60 from O'Sullivan in the opening frame, then frame winners of 107 and 62 from Bingham.
$75. 76.
Well, the position of the last red was a positional challenge which he wasn't quite able to make. But with that run of 83, Ronnie O'Sullivan equalises at 2-all with 3 to play. Level with 3 to play then. Well, the red that he attempted was the only one he could possibly leave, and he has left O'Sullivan a shot at it, albeit bridging over the black.
It's just a very horrible shot, isn't it, to drop it in over the top of the black. Safety shot's more appealing, I think.
Yes, not too surprised that O'Sullivan refused that.
And also, this is a match of high standards. 4 good frames, Clive pointed out, 60 plus every frame. Small mistakes, minor little errors could cost frames and matches. The way these two are playing out there. Don't forget, these two were in last year's final here in Coventry. This is a little plant into the middle pocket. Crafty one. Oh, what a shot. I don't think they were dead on either. Now I guess he felt there wasn't an awful lot of risk attached. Couldn't he stick the red that he was playing? Yeah, he had to make that into a plant. It wasn't in line. Well, that's one way to get in amongst them, isn't it? This is a key shot coming up though. Just off straight. Has to disturb other reds here, but he's got to get the cue ball onto a colour. It's a very good shot. That's where O'Sullivan is brilliant. Within a couple of shots he's quickly giving himself a good chance.
$14. $15. $20.
Chose to play on that red to free the black to both corners.
21.
Very much looking at winning this frame in one visit. A slight angle on this. Could go into them. Changed his mind. Changed his mind down on the shot there. He was aiming low on the cue ball at first.
Not recommended.
28.
Changing your mind once you're down, but there's no ill effect there.
29.
I think this time he might have to consider going into them though. I don't think he likes the shape of the pack all that much. He doesn't think he's certainly to be on one. He's got something to the middle.
36.
I can see why he was reluctant for the shot before. And once again, does he play on a loose red or does he just nudge into the pink and disturb a few more? He's got the perfect angle to do either.
$42. $43.
We've had some great players over the years, but there's nobody who's looked at a better player in and amongst the balls at the black end of the table than O'Sullivan. This just oozes class. Beautiful. Not
50.
an easy shot to get onto a colour from this if he's cueing awkwardly. Very nice. Very,
51.
very nice. I think when Stuart left the table, didn't think that he'd left anything, never mind possibly losing the frame. The opening plant was a good one.
$58.
Difficult to see O'Sullivan failing to clinch the frame at this visit.
$59.
Just a red and a colour needed.
$65. $66.
And now O'Sullivan can continue his pursuit of
73.
Stephen Hendry's record number of centuries. 775.
74.
O'Sullivan is on 756. So it shouldn't be long before he overtakes the 7 times world champion.
$79.
Yeah, so whether it ended the century or not, it's been such a good break. The last shot suggests it will end in the century. Beautiful cueing, came from nothing.
85.
And 1 or 2 problems along the way. He's got over those.
86.
And it's not like he's not been put under pressure in this match, but Stuart's played well. He won frames 2 and 3 and looked like he was hitting the ball really well himself, but Sullivan has stepped up.
93. 94. $99. 100.
Century number 757.
So that should be broken this season if we see a lot of
106.
O'Sullivan, I guess, that record. The rate he knocks them in. Of course, Neil Robertson made
108.
over 100 centuries last season, but Ronnie doesn't play in as many tournaments as that. Not that it's easy to make them if you do play in all those
111.
tournaments.
$115.
The break that started with a plant which had to be made, the right middle. He developed it into a run of 115. O'Sullivan leads by 3 frames to 2. So Bingham has got to win the 2 remaining frames to snatch a victory over the 5 times world champion. was good to see long queues at the box office this morning, and I'm sure that nobody here has been disappointed with the quality of this contest. Oh, what's he done?
Well, he's made a bad error, hasn't he? Interesting to see what he actually did try there. Of course, the red up the table is always going to cause him problems in getting back to bulk, but it couldn't have worked out any worse. I'm not certain what he played there.
Well, I think not as thick a contact. If he'd hit it thinner, the cue ball would have gone past the green and red.
1.
And he's got a shot. Not exactly how he played it. Really grown to myself. I think he might have believed he missed that, and he just made it. Key shot here. He might try and get in behind the red and black to pop the black into the same pocket as the red he's taking now. Just when you thought that he was on his way.
9.
Last couple of shots, reds into that pocket, both a bit edgy.
Well, that was a real lapse of concentration. This was a sitter by the standards of a top player.
1.
From the cut red, Bingham decided to go straight into the pack, assuming he would have a reasonable shot at a colour.
I think if he was confident he'd knock the blue in with the red there, but he knows if he misses it, it could be his last shot this year. This champion of champions that he did so well in last year, he's got to go in. Bit of pressure.
Stuart Bingham 1.
Bit of tension got into his arm there.
One. 6. 7.
Settle for that. Red to
14.
the left middle. Get on the blue, and then you look at the table after that, and not very much looks difficult. Not the way O'Sullivan's been playing. This shot, though, might be the last awkward one. Didn't have great cueing there.
15.
He'd love to get the red to the left of the black out of the way. And it doesn't leave much that'll stop him. That's the red he's played on.
20. $21.
We just caught a glimpse of Bingham there, giving a rueful scowl. I think he's fearing the worst.
$28. 29. $35.
I think he'd be quite pleased at the pink. Doesn't spot, it just gives him more room around the pink spot to play with.
36.
That wasn't one of his best. It's just a slightly poor angle on the black. Looking for a glimmer of hope for Stuart Bingham. It would be that this shot could go wrong. Hit it well, very well.
43. $44.
Just had a quick glance at the scores. He needs another red after this black. Well, it's been a very entertaining match, this. I think Stuart Bingham's played well, but just once
51.
or twice was found wanting, and it is only once or twice. The overall standard has been
52.
very good. I really enjoyed this one, Clive.
Yes, it's only been a shot here and there which has made the difference.
$57.
Very high standard of break making. 107
58.
and 62 from Bingham in the two frames that he won. 60, 83, 115.
65.
And now
66.
this effort of 66 so far from O'Sullivan. Every frame a 60 plus break.
71. $72.
O'Sullivan has shown that he's in fine fettle for the defence of his Champion of
77.
Champions title.
$78.
Yes, and he's got the best of 7-frame match out of the way against a player who's beaten before. Of course, whoever he plays this evening, it's going to be equally as tough, but it's a longer match, and he'll get to
83.
feel that he can really bet into the tournament. Yes, he'll be
85.
playing either Sean Murphy or Marco Fu, who meet in the afternoon's second match.
88. $92. $97.
So O'Sullivan finishes with back-to-back centuries, 115 and 103. He wins by 4 frames to 2. Stuart Bingham played well, but didn't win.
Well, snooker of the very highest quality. Two of the best in the business at it there, but Ronnie O'Sullivan threw 4 frames to 2 over Stuart Bingham. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.